Hi, it's Dave Lane here from Dutch Tents UK, doing one last video. So this is the last tent. I've been operating a tent import selling business now since 2015. It's 2025 now. Importing Dutch canvas tents. You've probably seen some of the videos and possibly some of the many Facebook postings that I've done over the years. And I often wondered, which will be the last one? Well, here it is. Perhaps not what I expected. I don't know, I imagined I'd probably go out, you know, pitching a albatross with a full varialife or something like that. But I'm going out with this one. It's a lovely tent. It's a lightweight. It's from Slee. It's from the 1990s. It's in absolutely beautiful condition, and it's big. Perhaps doesn't look so big on the photograph, but it is 7 meters across, 7 meters wide, and it's 4 meters deep. It has 2 inner tents. One will sleep 4, the other will sleep 2. Although I think the 4 berth inner tent is realistically more of a 3, but it'll do 4. It's very sectional, this tent. So you have one section there, then a middle section, and then you have the other section here. This can also be taken off, and each side can also be taken off and with another addition made into a single tent. So you don't need this full pitch up if you don't want. You can just have a smaller, well, you could use that 4 berth tent, and then there's a front section that will be added on separately, all in canvas, it matches, that would enclose it. I'm afraid I haven't got that up today. It took quite a bit of time pitching this. So I'll just give you a quick guided tour of the outside. So as you can see, this is the situation with both the inners. You have a rear door if you want it, and then with some storage area in there. So this rear pole stands at about 1 meter, and it goes up quite a lot to around 1.8 for the top pole. The canvas is pristine, clean condition. Really is lovely. There's one of the many badges around the tent. It's a lightweight canvas, like many of the others I've featured over the years. Done a water test on it, covering it with some water, and it just beads off very nicely. It's all dry now. So you can see a zip there for another back door for the other inner tent. And the other inner is in there with some more space. The door height is about 130, so you will have to drop down, but then you can very quickly come up to full height, assuming that you're not taller than 1.8. Actually, I say 1.8, sorry, I think I actually mean the height on this is more about 1.5, 1.6. So I'm 5'9", and I'm standing up fully. The top of my hair is just brushing the central ridge of the tent. It gently slopes down. We've got a lot of big storage space in here. We have this fitted ground sheet. Takes you to the back. These are all the bags. comes in several, and then inside a larger canvas sack. Here's the larger inner tent. Beautiful condition. It has a canvas outer door, then it has a gauze inner, both zipped. The smaller tent is here. They'd probably tell you this is a 3-berth, and if you wanted to at a push you would get 3 sleep mats in there, but you know, these things are better for 2. It's quite dark in there, blocks the light out quite well. The inner tent is all canvas with a really good heavy sewn in ground sheet. Both inner tents have full sewn in ground sheets and are in really excellent condition. The tent is supported all round by marked lightweight aluminium poles. Now I've said this tent is sectional, so you see the flap here, you can also see a zip. So if I was to undo that and then pull the zip down, you can see this creates, can you see this? This creates a bit of a storm guard. So were you to use this inner tent and its outer fly sheet separately from the main tent, you could stake this out and you would have a guard there. Alternatively then, it also has another section that will velcro here. So the tent has 3 main outer canvas fly sheets. So this is the middle section here, and then over that inner tent it has a canvas fly sheet, and then over that, so there are 3, so it's sectional. So if you want, you can just, as I've said a moment ago, just use that 4-berth inner tent or that smaller one with its and pitch it as a solo tent. So you have the option of just, you know, if you want a quick weekender. Other than that, I wouldn't describe the rest of the tent, the main build-up, as a weekender. There's a lot of pegging to do, and I think I would realistically describe this tent as ideally for somebody, for the experienced camper. It has taken me a good hour to set it all up, and the results are lovely. It's an absolutely wonderful space inside. It's been a really hot day today, and with the doors, you know, the back doors open and the wind coming underneath the storm skirt, it's just been lovely and cool in there. So I've really had a really nice time pitching my last Dutch tent, well, other than my own Randstad Otter when we go camping, but in terms of the, you know, Dutch Tents UK, this is the last one, as I've said. So the 3 sections are velcroed together with very strong velcro there, so that makes a very good seal. So there's one, there's the middle section. There is a door here which I've got tied up, and do that. 1 zip. Difficult to do with one hand, but there's the door. And then the door also has secondary zip. For another vented gauze, so even at night if it's hot you can tie this up and leave the vents open, so you are nice and cool but bug free. So there we are. As I've said, it's a slightly more technical build up than a normal pyramid tent, and it will take a little bit more time, but the rewards are really well worth it. And for a longer term camp in lovely warm weather, this is absolutely beautiful. So to start with, pitching. There's your inner tent in there. 4 pegs in each corner, it's square. Then you peg out, you guy out these, and there are a few of these. Can you see them in there? So they hold the side walls of the inner tent out to give it some more shape. Once you've got that, you will then use these guys to hold the poles in place. Can you see how the poles are fitted on? Really heavy canvas webbing there, really well made. These sleighs were fantastically built bits of kit. Fortunately they don't make them anymore. So once you've got your inner tent in place and guyed out, you then put on this outer fly. At this point you would remove the guy rope. I'll show you, I'll go in and show you. Can you see the guy rope here? So you would normally guy up. So what you're doing is you're pulling the tent in both directions. A bit like a push me pull you. So once you've got the middle section on that's going to pull the tent forward, the inner tent forward, you don't need this anymore. Unplug it and just, you know, pop it on the roof of your inner tent there so it's out of the way. We have another one for that tent as well. So once your middle section is on and it's velcroed in place, you then put in the second tent. Velcro that in place. Can you see how the inner tent is all held up? Now look at that for a pegging point. That's canvas webbing sewn onto the PVC ground sheet and held down, just like you get off big Dewards and Randstads, but this one's got it on an inner tent. Now that's quality. That's real proper built to last stuff. So once you've got this inner all pegged out, again 4 pegs in each corner, and then you do those guys. You then come on and you add in this final outer fly sheet for the other inner. Now one thing, note the velcro on this inner tent here is on the outside, so it hooks, it doesn't sit over that, it goes underneath. So that means you need to lift this middle section off the pole and then attach this onto the pole, then reattach this, then you can just run the velcro all down. You'll understand it better if you buy the tent and try and put it up. You'll understand what I mean. Again, let's look at this. Lovely. When you see the effort, the manufacturing that they put into these tents, you can really understand in today's world why they don't make them anymore. They'd just be unaffordable. A tent like this, at the time, in the 90s, would have been the equivalent, you know, they were still using guilders then, I think, in the Netherlands. The cost of this would have had a UK equivalent of probably 13 or 1400 quid then. In today, to build one of these, to make one of these and sell it commercially, you'd probably need to be selling these for, you know, closer to 2,000 or more. I note that Esvo are still selling much smaller lightweight tents for over €1,000. So you can imagine that these would be incredibly expensive to buy today, and I think just too expensive for today's market. But this tent, in terms of condition, isn't far off new. It hasn't been used many times at all, and it's just, you can just see how beautiful it is. A well-used tent would start to have some fraying around this stitching where the pole hole comes through, and there isn't any, so none of the pole holes are frayed at all. There's some fading, as you would expect. They use water based dyes on this thin canvas. This is 150 gram canvas I should have added, 150 gram weight, and so it fades, but it's completely universal. So the original tent wouldn't have quite been this white, and you can't really see it today, but the front wall here is more akin to the original shading, so it's more of a biscuit sort of digestive colour. And again, you can see around the pole holes there's no staining on this. There's the tiniest odd little mark like that. That's it. Other than that, it's really clean, really pristine. How would this thing fare in a storm? I'm not sure with the lightweights. I wouldn't really call them storm tents. The canvas is good and water resistant and will take quite a pasting. You can make it more waterproof by reproofing it. Being lightweight canvas, the sections can easily be put into a bath with some Nikwax cotton proof to make it even more waterproof. I don't think you need to with this at the moment. I think it won't need proving for several years if it's used well. And it's just a really lovely family tent. But as I said, I don't think it's really a weekender unless you're using either one of the side tents. So I think that's about it really. The end of the last video. Well, it has been a blast. So thank you very much and happy camping everyone.